Hey everybody, it's Mitch, and welcome to my next video. Today, we have got another Dungeons & Dragons 3.5 Prestige Class video. And again, from the Expanded Psionics Handbook, we have... Actually, it's on the next page. The Thrallherd. So, our Thrallherd friend right there. Boom, you can see her hanging out there. Now, the Thrallherd is an interesting class. Possibly one of the best classes in D&D 3.5, and we'll get into that in a minute. So we're going to talk about what is the Thrallherd. We're also going to talk about how to get into the Prestige class, as well as what do they get and how good are they. And as I already said, they're really good, like really good. So yeah, let's get into it. So first off, what is the Thrallherd? The Thrallherd is, it's a prestige class that is all about manipulating others and bending them to your will. It's really all about having thralls to do your bidding. Thralls and believers that just do whatever you say. It's kind of like, they're kind of like cohorts and followers, but better because they don't really care. Like, even if you mistreat them, they still function the same. They won't disobey just because you're treating them terribly. They don't seem to care. If they do care, they don't show it. That's how enthralled they are with your will. So yeah, Thrallherd's quite the interesting one. Let's get into... So yeah, with that said, let's get into how you actually become a Thrallherd. So a Thrallherd has a few interesting prereqs. So requires diplomacy ranks 4, makes sense. Knowledge psionics 8 ranks, okay. And then you have to have the Inquisitor feat, which isn't the greatest feat. It just basically lets you discharge your psionic focus in order to gain a plus 10 to... I forget what skill it is. I think it might be diplomacy or something. Or, no, sense motive, I think. So it's useful, but it's not the greatest thing in the world. Not super worth a feat, but required to get into this, so is what it is. Psionics, it requires you to be a manifester level 5, and it also requires you to be able to manifest a particular power known as Mind Link, which is actually the tricky part about getting in. Now, if you are a Scion and you happen to be a, if you happen to be a telepath Scion, makes it kind of easy to get into it because they can get that, that's just one of their powers. So that's just a first level power, no big deal. But if you wanted to do this as a Scion that's of a different discipline or as a wilder, you're going to need to take an extra feat. Now, it's not really worth it. You really just want to be like a telepath Scion, go do it the easy way. Or be a different type of Scion, I guess, if you really wanted to go that route. But, it's not super worth it for the wilder, in my opinion. But that's all that's required to get in. So let's talk about what does this prestige class actually get. And sorry, I've got an itch on my back randomly all of a sudden. That's why I'm squirming around a bit. Anyways, so what does it take to actually get into this? So in order to get into this prestige class, sorry, not to get into it, what do they get? For most of this, I'm going to say it's not worth it. Which is interesting because I did say it was the best prestige class in the game. So we'll get into that though. So a D4 hit dice, not great. They get 2+ int for skills and a kind of bad skill list. So again, not great. They have a bad base attack bonus. So it's not looking good. Bad fort and reflex, only a good will save. And not super impressive so far. But then they also get powers known at 2nd through 9th level. It's only at 1st and 10th that they don't. 1st and 10th, they get other stuff, though, which is what we're going to get into. So at 1st level, they get a thrall, which is, they get Thrallherd, which is, lets them have a thrall and believers. It's very similar to the leadership feat. except for a little better than the leadership feat, because you get to add your Thrallherd level twice, as well as all your levels of other prestige of other classes. So it's your total level plus your Thrallherd level. So your Thrallherd level actually counts for 2 levels, whereas all your other class levels count for 1 in terms of your leadership score. And you still get to add your charisma, so that's good. And you will want it like a positive charisma, or at least a non-negative. You want to have it like a +0 charisma at least, to get full benefit out of this. You don't really need any more than that though. So Scion works just fine. You don't really need to go wilder. Just don't dump your charisma. You don't need to buff it at all, but don't dump it. Keep it at a solid 10. So you get so like I said, you get those powers known, and then you get the Thrallherd. Which your thrall, unlike leadership with cohorts, can be 1 level lower than you instead of 2. So it's 1 level higher than a cohort. Then what you have for followers and believers, I think it's the same. So that kind of works out. But your cohort can be, or your thrall can be 1 level higher than a cohort could, which is really nice. Then you're also going to get a number of other things. But so far it's not really worth it, because you might as well just take leadership. Entry requirements are kind of restrictive. And you're going to use a class level when you don't get any manifesting for it. It's not really worth a thrall that's just 1 level higher, in my opinion. But bear with me. You're also going to get Psionic Charm, which basically just gives you extra power to your list, and it lets you manifest it with less power points, equal to your Thrallherd level. So you get a little bit of a discount. You can't buff it anymore. So like you figure out what the cost would be, and then you just subtract your manifester level after you've figured out all the other stuff. So that's just sort of an after effect. It just sort of saves you a few power points is all it does. You get Psionic Dominate just for free, as well as an extra power, and kind of the same deal. I mean, that's kind of cool. But now you still not as good as just going Scion and taking leadership though. Then you get Greater Dominate, which is kind of nice. It lets you and same with Superior Dominate, which they're going to let you use Psionic Dominate on harder to dominate creatures without paying that extra PowerPoint cost, which is pretty handy to be able to do that. You're now able to, so this will let you augment more, because normally doing it on those creatures required, it was kind of a bonus augment. This one isn't even an augment. It lets you just kind of ignore that and do that for free. So this one's really nice. Which basically will let you, augment it to affect multiple creatures. So you can augment it more to get a lot more creatures in one manifesting, which is pretty nice in all honesty. But so far you're level 9, and we haven't got anything that really makes this class worth it. But that's when we get to level 10. What they get at level 10 is very, very much worth it. And that is Twofold Master. Twofold Master lets you get a second Thrall. This one is going to be weaker than the first. It's going to have to be 2 levels lower than you, which, if you get this right away at 15th level, is pretty much guaranteed, assuming you don't have a really bad charisma. So yeah, that's really, really nice. And yeah, you can have 2 thralls. So basically you'll have 3 characters. Your weaker thrall is going to be just as good as a cohort would, and your stronger thrall is going to be stronger than a cohort, although still weaker than you. But yeah, this is so worth it. The class does prevent you from taking the leadership feat, and if you already had the leadership feat, you lose the benefit of it, so that kind of sucks. But pretty good class all in all. Like, one of the best in the game, possibly the best, just because it lets you have 3 characters. And you get mostly full manifesting. You only lose 2. That's not the end of the world. Your character's still pretty good. But yeah, you basically get 2 thralls, which is really awesome. That's really hard to get something like that. normally. So yeah, I think Scion Telepath is the way to do it. If you go into Epic, then you can. I've looked up some like homebrew stuff with that. Apparently, if you go into Epic, you can get even more thralls. That's a little more homebrewy, so it's kind of up to your DM, but definitely a thing that can happen once you get in there. But you're gonna have to wait a few levels, maybe throw in a few levels of, I don't know, maybe a Lithid Slayer to, get your base attack bonus up decent. After you've already reached level 15 and got the full progression in this, or maybe just take 5 more levels of Scion, or 1 Scion and some Elocator, get up to 20, and then just jump back into this to, once you get to 21, just go full on Thrallherd and keep getting more and more thralls to do your bidding. Very, very good class all in all. Highly, highly recommend this class. Definitely one of the better classes in the game. Anyways, if you enjoyed the video, or first off, leave a comment down below. Love hearing from you guys. If you enjoyed the video, give it a like, because, that really helps me out. It's easy to do. Also, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so. Ring that notification bell, because YouTube's terrible about giving notifications. But anyways, as always, I'm Mitch. I'll be seeing you.